Kuzampo and welcome to our show, Mindful Journeys Caring for International Students. The ngachigi lerim di bewajen international students the nalu heavy capsule na chike kablu heavy capsule di nalu ngachigi tab deuda madeu desu the semkam ki the dewe ki kangal desu kadebra themena the le dilu kadebe ngachigi individual mi rana sosogi kadebe dilu toklen desu baby na hani ki koli in sejunila te ngachigi lerim di scripted men the lerim nalu te ngachigi nalu jube kapsulu both zonga and english ngachi lase digibe nebe shung sejuni te danja jui te ngachigi migil ngomachi di international students karagi delni im bedolu te dinalu ngachigi inke dinalu chukumidi nedin chi ani sejunila te derigi ngachigi lerim di beojin theng shibai episode 4 la ngachigi season 1 episode 4 te dinalu deri ngachigi gembe jemi beojin mapa garagi ngoma shipchi di mi ko namsame popular chirai la ngachi na dubigi mide nalu namsame pendobigi mingom chirai in sejuni la te kogi mingde beojin ugin tinle te yongdalu UT silabila so te kogi hema chagendi beojinda to youth da dewigi ani nalu chalazeme te hemadi beojin drugs and alcohol ani ki related ki nalu chalazi pe shujubila te digia madwa te ngachi ki media ki denle dubigi radio janda radio ki program na chia ko RJB chala youth chala naam be dila se ti da lochi deji bebe te koragi dato chala da jigalu tabma dendegi tebe kojago tenu te karinche and welcome to our show and thank you for taking your time te daringa chi lerim nalu jenam deru namsam karinche sunila te ngai naleba jumidi todu chi be jubi na nagi ngote te nabugi chi suna sunila
that's tambara namsam karinche se shugela mindful journey caring for international students semigi joden lu migdigi be teta pigelu judi mi tekarduna australia perth na lu migi mingom chechap telen rara susugi kecheda telen nyamnyong yimidusu nagina tizumbe tende judigi teta tuwa telen nyamnyong jesor nakap jesur gi lerim tisum gorin tamidulu tengaragi khatule namsami jesu irang bombere yu se shunila te tekardu edaro ngarai anizum gi lana midilu pembigi la beminalu te to yu mida chensuki michi bebe wale tindigi te ta anizum gi lerim nalu te chamatuni kokap na midilu nami sami semgi din lera kariga su bombere yu se shudola
lasla kariche te ngachi ngoma beochin ngada chigalu darura co-host bebe Dr. Sonam Peldin yi sijinil te teri Dr. Sonam ngada jami so ngaragi be nale chemi phiu sijinila danja Dr. Sonam gi sunela ngachi ki first episode nalu so ngachi gakap so chinalu jodalu stages yes stages chi di first nara honeymoon stage se the leg ani so bit dubala so ani zumgi chegi gadebe chorwa de so gadebe junga ani kola sona shilila
lasla the majigi ngaragi anebe no sata ta wachinla charji disudi hemalena unigi ani disu tida disu chigane chamcham mi se shunila
las
te ta hatoma milamna zumbera na husi se telen majigi dinalu ro jomi disugi luju disugo anzumbe bodalu teta ngaragi khatule bewachindi ngadi jondigi namsamichi toya made se shudula thandi shwachin tewoda ngaragi amsugi teta mugi adaru aniveta bede selabebe tetaro thana ails chamnigi kachulo
dise
thi dise gara mugi tila anigi kablu te anebe bebe ails chi chapchila hemara te ails ti cha bebe te aninalu ngaragi rewole te hadigi be dubde thobbe te anale tiga nga yalu lebebe chashuila longo gudi chigiri lu lebebe chashu bebe te anigi namdina lunga gi taru jongdar surtebe kachibe go sewachin post postgrad diploma in youth guidance and counseling se labbe te ani nalu tangagi counseling lamdim bagi mola labja delin kachilo mida chika dewa thabdalu kadibe thabgo bina ani dusugi kole hago telen migi semkom gi neji dusugi kole luju dusugo yente sapre thok pane bebishinale tenam sami ngaragi personal life telen chirtangi ta alu disuda chika dewa thap pecha disuten bodolo ani nam sami pento ise shunila tele aninale bebe tangagi ta shipsil chungku chichap betawdalula counseling gi jongda de tana Australia ludu telen ma India ludu Canada ludu telen pa US ludu la tane bodalu te ta bodalu halam tha nisho dira jagar gya khabdi mela te boda jagar gya khabdi ngajira ta kholu ma phawe chap mela te khoragi chanda thiten le bedi besichiru de milop le bedi besichiru de na me sami unity gi te dinalunga nam sami chito ma chunse shuni te di nadeni le doron nam sami sa chebina lu bebe ne digi be tlanale Canada da US di bewachin nam sami tharim be choilanga lasa telen anale be ta thanjulu ta Australia chitage sino bebe te nalu Murdoch University nalu apply be se shunela tele masters in counseling la lasa ta ani nalu apply be te dinalu daro khoragi jarim rimba disu mado be dula te lalu disu be wachin apply bodalu SOP lo and disu be telen ani guni du mola EOI disu confirmation of enrollment disu te COE sorry ani disu Google be tane Google bodalu ngagi theka hibdalu di tangalu COE mahibigi hamalera Murdoch University gi counseling gi dean da jikhalula through Skype bela video call na be 30 minutes na 40 minutes na chigirinlu interview che base junila tani interview di thekadu mapa chileta wachin aptitude the attitude gi test me bala mi di genuinely gadimchi counseling na loto aduga menduga tele khogi jongdar bei sela medi benuga mabega Egypt benigi denlo wala tane be bodalu te ani interview di minute sumchu da jipchugi bana gi interview di judu be tele chamchi COE hichise junila tele vente azilo di toto yasila
mapa ani counseling gi di gara ro ani kongi admission process nalo ani interview di dubala so laluchi nalu mi te bedal counseling gi especially counseling gi di kongi interview gi bedal chegi ani nale sakto dulu nam sameta
las karicela tele ta ani di ta ngachira ta initial stages zumchi memola it's a part of a stage and that is like done la it's completed but there's other issues la like you have to book your tickets you have to sort of like look for people that you know who are already here look for your host you remember and also like financially you have to sort of like be able to you should be in a position where you can sort of like look after yourself and that money should be able to look after you for about a certain period until you sort of like find a job you start making money and also be mindful about your fees and all the stuff. So that's where the biggest problem was because I do not come from a like wealthy family, you know, like and throughout my career I was just like a simple teacher, you know, like and we don't sort of like get as many opportunities to travel to make money and stuff like that. So ane bodalu nami sami mangil gi theka hebdalu tane ta kangil thing session nila te boda the lane loan disu len anzumbe be delena amchugi khatulechi delenga ragi khatulechi dele pincha disu nale mola ye prale ten me bole che selab duzum bane be te na hichi session nila te ta na hebigi nimnale the charo chamto to the soy delen amchugi khatule pincha the soy bebe the conchechge matutubera charo beila the ani the sulu dingaragi the kongi jede sino darate akari gaso shudo se shunela the daro dare ani gi duo dilen bebo dalu the charo mi tembe lavalu the lasho ini digi the kara da de bemi sube te kara lu te japchur zemi dilu te hi na bigilera ngada ngara gi sasangi khadule kadi ga su bombe rai se shunila
las aba ani karin ti gilche ba mula kamchi rogi khalo ombi kapsulu ra guthumbe debi kapso kongi ran charo bedalu tilu karin samgo sam shimi di mi namsame ke proja cha semi chi te dile na hejim le nagi kangel da disu kadebra jui de dinalu nagi kangel disu kajlamada cheragi nekap le tendi ki be kadebe se chupchi se anichi so much
the chinagi sundeba mola honeymoon stage. It is like a stage where everything seems perfect, you know, like you have landed on the foreign soil. Now you are sort of like looking forward, very excited about a new start, a new beginning, new people around, then a different culture, different society, different work environment and work culture. So there was this a lot of you know, like excitement boiling in your heart, in my heart, and then but at the same time there were like a lot of things that I had to learn and also be aware of, because it's a land of opportunity, but at the same time there's many things that, because I've never stepped outside Bhutan, only for once, and that also like belongs to a similar culture. Like I've been to Japan, but we sort of like have, I think there's like similarities in Japanese and us, but whereas they're totally, I mean like the Australians, they are like, it's a multi-cultural society and it's different. So one of the shocks that I experienced was when I was in uni, and was just very quiet, you know, like didn't know anyone because I was the only Bhutanese in the class. There were like almost 40, 50 students, and then most of them were Australians.
Okay.
They were like, the way my observation was like the way they sat in the class. It's like there was this young girl who was leaning her back against a chair, and she had her foot on the other empty chair that was just sitting next to her. And then she had a snack on the table, and the tutor was busy lecturing. And then she was like snacking and relaxing. I was like, what's going on?
if it were in our country, you could have already got
because I being a teacher for 9 years, and I'm witnessing this in front of my eyes. I was like, what is going on? And then suddenly someone in the class, they called the name of the lecturer. It's like Margaret. And I was like, Margaret. I was like, where's the sir? Where's the ma'am? So that was something that I was like, there was this internal dialogue constantly happening in me, you know, like what's going on and stuff.
Because that was your first experience. Did you, like, because you were coming from the background of teacher, did you feel like, you can't do that in my class? You were thinking like you're a teacher there and then you might be, you know?
I would definitely say that because of my lack of exposure.
Yes,
because I've only been teaching in the Bhutanese school and Bhutanese context.
Yes.
But this is totally different, and it's not Australian; it's international university. You know, like you have people coming from different countries, different nationalities, and and that sort of like makes things beautiful and diverse, and you know, like it's very enriching because each one of us, we carry our own experiences, our culture, shaped and groomed by our culture, you know, like, and it's different. So I felt vulnerable there, but at the same time, I was willing to accept, you know, like that is the key term, I think, when I reflect on my journey, the acceptance. Because if you are not in the position to accept that you are vulnerable, you're feeling vulnerable, and now you want to make amends with your life and move forward, then you won't be able to adjust. If the longer you take to accept things, the longer it will take for you to move on.
True, true.
So for me, I was like, okay, let's learn about it. Let's welcome that awkwardness, and then move on with that. You know. So yeah.
So how long did it take you to call your lecturers by name? I know we are coming from very culturally rich, and they do respect here. It's kind of showing respect by calling the name here. That is different to what we used to in Bhutan. If you are respecting someone else, we say sir, madam, la, yes. But here, even the lecturers, they want you to call them by the name, not by sir or madam, because these are the what do you call, the title given to someone special, right? So that's why it's kind of their culture and respect. So how long did it took you to accept that one and then start calling your lecturer by name?
Well, as soon as I came to learn that it was okay to be called by their name, because when they introduce themselves, they sort of like tell, like, you can call me this and that. So whatever their preferred names were. So when you get to know that, then you sort of like say, okay. But initially it was very difficult to sort of like actually name them. But yeah, like I said, once I sort of like came in terms with calling their names, then it was still like very awkward moment.
True. Yeah. The thing is, I think everybody, whoever has been, same stage like you, I felt we also felt a little bit, awkward when we call our lecturer or teacher by name. So that was everybody goes that one by that one. But the key point here is to accept.
Yeah.
So if we accept something, so you will be able to move on. Same nagi. That's really nice. Lani, they might be not being able to accept something. So I think it's time you accept and move on.
Well, I think it's not everybody's cup of tea.
Yes, true.
Because it takes time, because when you move, that's where I think Ma'am Sonam was talking about the cultural aspect of it. Because when you move from one country to a totally different country, you're not just moving yourself, you're moving your whole world. You're moving the culture that you have been brought up in, So there is this gap, like cultural gap between your old place and your new place. And not just that culture, even in terms of everything, like food can be a part of culture. The language that you speak can be part of culture. Even the accent, it can be a part of culture. The music, the clothes that they wear, even the art forms, like dances, songs, music, everything. So it's a big change to you're not just accepting one aspect of or one element of the culture. You have to accept everything and have to have that openness in your head. So sort of like okay. Yeah.
If some of you are watching now and then planning to come overseas, like to either to Australia or other countries, so be open. Your mind should be open and then be ready to accept.
Yes, most important. Most important.
Dile, how did you get into your current position, and what were what it took you to get to this position?
Well, I was like I said, I was studying then when I was doing my master's in counseling. I had to do be like any other Bhutanese here, I did Ubering, like Uber Eats, very popular then, right in Inalu. It was really awkward for me because I'm a big man, and have to wait with the Uber back outside Macca's. And then there's I know the Westerners, they don't judge you, they do have huge respect and that's the true essence of the dignity of labor is there, they don't judge you, they're there you are there to work, so that's it. They see it as work. It doesn't matter how small it is or how, yeah, whatever their opinions are. But yeah, so I did Ubering, I did cleaning, you know, like just to sort of like help. And then also was part of a release team member, like the night field. And then I tried, the first job was in the farm, you know, like I was picking fruits. And I did that for 2 days. I couldn't last any longer because after 2 days, what happened was like I had a terrible heat rash all over my body, and I couldn't even wear my clothes.
You know,
so it was like that pricky, you know, like it's burning. It's
the temperature reaches, you know, almost 40, 50.
Yeah, that's when I got here, like in Feb.
Oh.
So it's too much heat. Yeah, but after my graduation, I had a friend, not a Bhutanese friend, but a Pakistani friend. He was in Calgary, and he was doing. He was a counselor, one of the counselors there, and he was like, Yuti, if you're ever interested, there's positions available. Go on Seek and apply, you know, like send your resume, and I'll be your referee, you know, like I'll reference you, I'll put a good word for you. And I thank, I don't know if Sohail will be watching this, I thank you, Sohail, for the recommendation and the suggestion. So yeah, I applied for that position, and then yeah, they accepted my application. They interviewed me, and then yeah, I went to Calgary. And I stayed
How long
there.
did you stay
I
there?
stayed there for like a year and a half. But it was a regional area, very mostly. I think there's a majority of Aboriginal community. I was working with the Goldfields Rehab Center as a drug and alcohol counselor, but it was like an eye-opening experience for me, because then I really got to sort of like work with, you know, like real clients. I was not role playing, you know, like when we were doing the courses. So I was actually like sitting like us, you know, like in the counseling setting, in a closed room for about an hour. And at times, like, there's nothing to talk about. There's complete silence. But it's actually very awkward in the beginning to sort of like sit in the room with another person and not talk anything, you know. So, but I've learned how to deal with that. So yeah, and then after that, advanced to an outreach coordinator. So they offered me that position, and then I was the coordinator for the outreach part of it for about 6 months. And then I came back to Perth. So before I came here, I applied for a position with Centacare, and then I was accepted for that position, and I moved back to Perth. So I stayed with Centacare. I'm still with Centacare, but in between I moved away from them. So I was working as a reset caseworker, mostly with the adult prisoners, helping them reintegrate back into the community. You know, it's really difficult for them because yeah, they have obviously committed a crime, made mistakes in the past when they were young and stuff. But yeah, been sentenced for like 15 years, 20 years, you know. And then when they come out, a lot has changed for them.
Yes, it's totally a new, it's like coming from, you know, from Bhutan to here.
A lot has changed for them. So we are basically there to support them morally, boost and, you know, like encourage them to sort of like be on track and do the right thing and stay out of the justice system, you know. So yeah, it was really I felt blessed and privileged to be sort of like offered such positions, because I was actually doing something, you know, like it doesn't have to be Bhutanese, but I was doing for
the general
general human, you know, like we're all human.
True.
So that element I really adore and like.
So now you said that you have moved from that position as well, and now you are doing something related to youth.
Yes. So I'm a
this shift. How is it?
The position is different,
Less.
but the work that we do is quite similar.
Less.
Because from a reset case worker to I have become a youth worker.
Youth worker.
So there's lots of mentoring, you know, like preparing support plans, checking with the young person and looking into what their needs look like, and then accordingly supporting them. But the goal here is I work with the age bracket is like 10 to 17.
Less.
So because after 17 they become adult. So 18 and above is adult. So they, yeah. So so basically we're trying to sort of like, again, similar to the previous role, we're trying the young people to stay out of justice system, you know, like, and be involved in the community as much as they can. It's like, if you look at the age, 10 to 17, it's a very fragile, you know, like they're developing, their brains are not fully developed. They're still wanting to be, it's the age where you are learning and trying to figure out what you want to become in the future.
Right.
So they want to be, this is the age that where they sort of like go to school, they learn new stuff, they try to figure out what their hobbies are, make relationships, be socially active, you know, and then again also learn like very important skills like assertive communication is very important, like being able to say no, you know, because when you're young there's this peer pressure, negative influences, and then you end up experimenting with your life, like say smoking, drinking, and then use of substances. And if you look at this age bracket, and in my experience, I've known people who are exposed to such environment when starting from the childhood, and then they picked up very early, you know, and it's really hard for them to quit. Because when they have started early, they have that many years of experiences. And we always say, like, bad habits die hard, you know. So, yeah, it's a deep work.
that's really, I think like your kind of role is really fulfilling kind of, I felt like this because I also want to work with people, you know. I like working with people.
But you are actually working with people.
I'm doing, but in a different role, not similar to yours.
Yeah.
But this kind of roles, actually, you're shaping the way for the young, you know, people to lead their life in future and all. This is really good. But like you said, try to say no. You know, except that one. You know, no. You should be able to say no. There would be lots of peer pressure. I know. Even I had while I was studying. You know, my circle of what do you call the friends were all smoking, drinking, and they always try to, you know, include me. But I'll be there, but I'll never drink. I would always say no.
Yeah.
So that's why I you know.
Yeah, you survived.
I survived, and I'm not drinking, I'm not smoking. So, but yeah, that's true. You should be able to say no.
Yeah.
And, you know, do what you like to, not because of the peer pressure and all. When we say no, we should also be able to open up, right?
Yeah.
So, in our first episode, Dr. Sonam was mentioning that, especially the gents, you know, the male, we tend to keep our emotions or whatever going inside, you know, within us, and that becomes, you know, when it piles up, it gets busted, you know, like a bomb.
So the pressure
it's kind of a time bomb clicking every time you have something in mind and not being able to tell. So anizum bedolu cheki career nalu anizum ki you know, clients, did you come across such kind of clients, or maybe outside of your workplace, for example, the Buddhist community ki na nakonalu. I know you are also giving some counseling to the people who are in need of, ngachigi dubi mediginale. So ani bedo nagi anizum ki kangil thinga. And are you able to express yourself as well?
Most definitely. No, that's a very good and interesting question. Now, when it comes to the expression of feelings, firstly, we also need to know how to identify the feelings. Because emotions and feelings, they're like many, it's diverse, But majority of us, we are not familiar with the vocabularies of feelings. We are sort of like limited to being sad, angry, like frustrated, anxious. These are the things. But there's like many types of feelings. And you can sort of like name the elephant in the room by going to the specifics and the details. So mostly if you, even when you go out and you ask someone like, hey, how are you doing? And we say, I'm good.
Yeah, true.
I'm okay. I'm fine. But that is not a feeling.
True.
And then also like, to what extent are you feeling that emotion? What is the cause of that feeling? Where did it come from? That is where you need to be mindful about,
Right.
like your mindful journey.
Yeah.
And it comes with reflection. You need to have that culture of reflecting on what's going on with you. If you take a 2 or 3 towards the end of the day before you go to bed, like you lie down and then reflect on how your day went, or what were your thoughts like, because in a day a person can go through like thousands and thousands of thoughts, and that's where a lot of it's called the cognitive fusion, and there's cognitive diffusion as well. So cognitive fusion is like you're constantly going through a lot of thoughts. And then most importantly, it is said that we are negatively biased. So that is why there's ANT, which is automatic negative thoughts. So if a person is not engaged in any activity and is just simply being idle and sitting at home, then obviously those thoughts are going in his head.
True.
And then because we are negatively biased, we're thinking more about the negative thoughts. Like even if there's good things happening in your life, positive outcomes and stuff, you do not acknowledge it. You just blindsided to those outcomes, the good ones, and then you're tunnel visioned towards the negative ones. So that is ultimately sort of like having that thought is ultimately having a negative feeling in you. And that negative feeling will cause the mood, then you don't feel interested, you're no longer excited, you're no longer positive. So the whole outlook sort of like changes. Now coming to your question, so these things are happening in us. So the thing is like, it is to do with the culture. Like Bhutanese, we don't open up. We don't talk much about emotions and how we are feeling. Whereas if you look at the Westerners, they are more open about their feeling. If at work your colleague comes and says, "Oh, I had a sorry, my language, they say like a shitty day," so then we ask like, "What happened?" And then they will constantly, instantly, not constantly, they will instantly narrate the whole story, what happened, what occurred, without any filters. But whereas if you ask your friend, like from a Bhutanese community, like, how's it going? I heard about this. Nothing. They just leave it at that point. So which means they're not willing to express.
True.
So, ani dubadela kebardi.
Actually, female women's I think they are easy. They express it themselves. I think mostly. I could say mostly, but I can't say compared to men, the women's are more expressive. I think in terms of their feeling. What do you reckon?
Under the influence of alcohol?
I don't know about that, but because we also have a saying that ngaji phoge beodalu kachim am susum bengu.
No.
That is there, no? Ngaji dalu.
That's true. Because there's a lot of shaming in there. Like if you talk about it. Now, even a kid, when I mean, like as a parent, say like we're out in the town, and then the kid has happened to see like some beautiful toys or exciting things that's out there, and he wants it or she wants it, but the parents are like, no, you can't have it. Then what will the child do? He'll start crying, like, and then what does the parents do? Like, the baby, for the baby or the child, when they need something, they express it through their tears.
Okay.
That is the expression of the emotion. Because they're only getting used to with the words, like the feelings of sad, cry, and stuff like that. So they can only, the language that they use is like they cry. And then when they cry, the mother will feed them, prepare food, change the diapers, So that is what they do, and that is how they develop, and that is how, again, going to attachment theory, like there's avoidant, dismissive, all these 4 categories. So that is how the attachment develops, and that is how the secure relationship and attachments are formed. So if the baby is not taken care of, if the child is not taken care of when they were young, okay, and that's like from the ACE study, like adverse childhood experiences. So I need mata wajin, alu chungu gale ranjme daji mabe wajin. Dile kongi dushi chitong desu kemi shebe bade. Dilen yanchin kongi gachulo dari chigi to jime momu dalu. Naba majwi majin, tad naba to thopka me thopka simi mi shebe bade kongi. So it becomes unpredictable.
Okay.
It doesn't become, there is no constant routine for them. So so if there is a constant thing like, okay, alungu uchi gola sojini, chushe chapni, humpu chapni, memjini, tojini, gara gola sojini, chala gomidi nyojini, anzumbe, then it's predictable. So then the person feels secured. My parents are reliable. They can take care of my needs. So anzum no mashebdara, the bomb jodolo, that is where all those relationship issues come in. Because they feel like sometimes they're more clingy, like anzum the lamni dumen that nam sa misetawi nam sa misesatai anzum bemi. The laluchi nam sa mi possessive misetani the possessive. The laluchi they don't open up too much.
Okay.
Because of the fear, they have that fear. They have that fear. So there's like secure, insecure, avoidant, dismissive, disorder or disorganized. So these are different kinds of attachment. Now, even as an individual, you need not have a master's in counseling to learn about it. You go through Google and look into those different types of attachment styles. And then you sort of like look back into your life, how your parents sort of like nurtured you and groomed you when you were young. So then these things will start making sense. And then how much impact is that having on your current relationship, not just with your intimate partner, but also with your friends. So that is where the no, it comes into play. And sometimes people can't say no because they feel that, I will lose a friend.
True. If
then also like age the TDGB, they want to be included in your so they want to they have that feeling to or the need to be with that certain people, school na le fabere the laluchi popular kids, laluchi kache mimi. Some people you will come across like you will not even remember their name.
True.
You have been in the same class, but you will never remember the person because he's like all by himself all the time, or she's all the time by himself. But there are people who are naughty.
Yes.
But why are they naughty? Because they need that attention. Because he's not getting it from his family or somewhere else.
Okay.
That is why he needs that attention. But any interesting fact. And then as a teacher, when you are young and new and freshly graduate, you don't think too much about it. The only thing that you're worried about is your lesson plans, how you're going to deliver the lesson, how are you going to plan the activities. That's it. But whether the lessons that you have taken so much time to prepare and deliver in the class makes any sense to the kids. Are they in the good state of mind to learn and acquire that knowledge? Any state
True.
So without that understanding, then we always do that, I think. We just label them, we judge them and say, this is weak student, this is a brilliant student. But the weak student gi call job background then they could be like going through domestic violence in their.
I don't know if you have seen that movie, the Indian Bollywood movie, Tare Zameen Par.
Yeah, similarly.
So those kind of things. So you can't look down or categorize someone else who is not, up to the other cohort. But they are different in their own way, right?
Yeah, but if you sort of like now, after hearing this, I thought maybe whoever comes across this video, if you sort of like kind of reflect on your parenting skills and also how you process your negative emotions or positive emotions, how you do that. If you reflect on that, there will be like, you will be surprised, I'll tell you that. You will be surprised. Because there is this difference, like being mindful, being reflective, and then just letting it pass like a common day's ordinary day, So, yeah.
That's really insightful, and also I know there are lots of parents, both international and the Aussies here. If this would really help, how they look into if they are watching this one, like how they are, bringing up their kids. I know everybody has a different, a way of bringing up their own kids, but we should also, from the Western scholars and all, we should be looking at it and then implementing some of them, because they have done lots of research on that, and so I think it's it might be beneficial for whoever is looking at watching this podcast.
Most definitely. I think now in this like 21st century, your access to resources, it's like
Abundant.
Plenty, it's abundant, like anywhere you go, you have your knowledge in the pocket at the fingertips. So that is not an issue, that is not a barrier. But the barrier is, once you acquire that knowledge, how do you put it into action?
True.
That is why someone said, like, in the past they used to say that those people who can read, write and think, they're considered as literate. And then later they changed it, like those people who can learn, unlearn and relearn, they are literate. Now it is changing again. So those people who can not just acquire, because knowledge is power, but knowledge without action is useless. So if you want to make that knowledge more powerful, you need to put it into action. So that is where the the mindful practice comes into play. So you're being reflective, you're responding to how you are going through in your life, you're responding to how your kids are doing, you're responding to how your partners are doing. It's very important. And very recently there's like, are you okay day as well.
Yes.
So how often do we ask this question?
Yeah, that's the question.
Yeah.
How often do we ask?
Yeah, how often do we ask? And how genuine are you
when
in
you ask?
listening to the responses you get?
True.
And what support can you provide if the person is not doing well?
True.
So these are like some good questions. It's not just asking, are you okay, and just leaving at it, but you actually are doing something to help that person.
True. Like you have shared quite a good amount of insightful informations that we should be reflecting on yourself, being mindful of yourself and your surrounding. So coming back to your personal life,
Yeah.
how well you are able, like you said, like with knowledge without action, it's useless.
Useless.
So I would like to ask how true that is with your personal life. So you might have come across some, situation where you have to think back, relax, reflect, and then.
Yeah.
So,
So,
Nagi, so much.
well, I do. In my personal life as well as professional life, I do a lot of reflection.
Less.
And I make the best use of my supervision time when at work. It comes every month,
Less.
and then I sort of like I look forward to that supervision because that is the time when I sort of like unpack some of the things that has occurred over the month.
Less.
And also seek insight from the experienced supervisors, and then look into how can I do things differently, or what could have I done in order to avoid that. So likewise, even in personal life. Now, in personal life, I think a lot of people take me for granted. I'll be very honest with you, because I'm a very fun person in my personal life. I do normal things.
We see that one through your TikTok and all.
Yeah, I do normal things, like I go out, chill with my friends, drink, and yeah, I do all the things that other people and ordinary people, I'm also ordinary, so normal people do, So that's why even my friends, they will tell me like, you teach counseling this jada hore. Counseling so they really, I mean, like, take me for granted, but I don't mind, because the thing is, like, if you don't want it, I can't give it.
True.
And you can only give what you have. That is, I think, what His Majesty has said as well. Like, we can't give what we don't have. So
True.
I can only give if the person is ready to receive. So yeah, and likewise in the family as well. I do sit with my kids and try to sort of like get a feel about what's going on in the school, like about the academics and stuff. And they're not doing so well in academically, because they've only been here for 10 months or so. And you know how when kids come here, because of their age, they are put into different levels, I mean, like years.
Yes.
So it's difficult for them to cope up with that. And I'm not putting any pressure on them, like I'm saying, you have to achieve this or that now. I just want them to sort of like learn. I want to learn, and then I'm being very understanding. I'm not sort of like wanting to top the class and put in my Facebook page or something like that now. I just want them to learn, understand, and then also be able to figure out what they want to do with this. So recently my son was like, I want to do physical fitness. No problem. If you want to do that, if that is what you're thinking and wanting to do, I'll support you. Now, if basically, and he was asking me this right before coming here, he was asking me like, what do I have to study to become a doctor? And I was like,
how old is he?
He's only 15.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, he was like, do I have to study biology? And I was like, yeah, of course you have to study biology. And then I was like, what else? And I was like science subjects like chemistry is very important. Physics, maths. But he's not good at those, not good in those subjects. But he was like, but I can do. But I appreciate his willingness, like, or I appreciate the fact that he has brought that topic and talked about it. The thing is that you also, at times, what we do is like, give a shy so like, of course, if he wants to become a doctor, it's good. But what if he's got no capacity to study those subjects.
Sure.
I don't want him to sort of like you said, become a time bomb. So just be focused on what you are interested, and then learn, and most importantly, enjoy and have fun. And then, because this is the age where you sort of like do study, learn new skills, socialize, make friends, see how relationships work, you know, like, and what do you need to develop, like skill-wise, communication, you know, like being expressive, how much you want to express yourself, you know. So yeah, that aspect of it, and then we do talk about it a lot.
That's really good. You have to be, you know, be a constant touch with your family, especially your kids, when they are growing up. Because if we don't give much time to them, they might be like you said previously, they get neglected and they feel neglected. So this might, you know, take their self-esteem.
Yeah.
You know, a little bit backward. So it's very important as a parent. We have to give more time, you know, allocate some time to your kids and of course your partner.
Yeah, of course. I think with the young kids, they need supervision. We do check on them, and then also to make sure they're limited to screen time as well. We take their phones away, you know. And then also instill in them a sense of shared responsibility. I tell them like, look, this is our house, and you have your own room, you know. So if you take care of your room, keep it clean, tidy, arrange, organized. You have to do laundries, you do it. You don't have to wash it. You just put it in, load it in the machine, and it will wash it. And then once it's done, you just dry it out on the line. That is your role.
Do they get paid as well?
Nah.
Like parent here, they
well,
do
they
give them,
Yeah, of course they do.
Pocket money.
Yeah, they do. But well, actually, it doesn't sit well with me, because I'm sort of like making my kids money driven, which I don't want. It's more about acknowledging the responsibility, so that when you grow up, you can impart that same value onto your kids as well. So in a form of reinforcement, we sort of like go for movies out, you know, like, and take them for dinner, you know, like some outing on the beach or stuff like that. And then when they don't want to be with us, because like kids, they don't want to be with us, so they want to go out and play basketball, let them out. They want to go for sleepover, let them out. So that is what I mean, like another form of sort of reinforcement for what they are doing, you know. So yeah.
Thank you so much, Yuti. I think with this today's episode, I think it's if we talk, I think it's going to go too long, but it's really nice to hear all those things and sharing your experience, plus you know, the knowledge that you acquired through your education and all, and from workplace, of course. So we really appreciate your time here today, and thank you so much for coming. And before we you know, wrap up this episode, would you like to give any advice, or you know, some good words to those struggling, like especially the international student, because we are doing the podcast based on the international students. So I would like you to say something.
No, thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me here. I don't know how much you have gained from today's session, but it's always a pleasure to be here and be able to sort of like share and exchange experiences. My message to all the Bhutanese people here in Perth and anywhere else is like, it's never going to be easy when you're on a foreign soil for the foreign sojourn, you know. So the best thing is like having a constant check on yourself, like how are you doing? And if you are not in a position to do it by yourself, there's always people available to help you, to sort of like look into, to help you unpack what's going on, to help you process, debrief, whatever you call it, but make use of them, you know, because if you keep it to yourself, it's only going to deteriorate your mental health. and ultimately this will have ripple effects on the other aspects of your life, like be it your family, be it your partner, your friends, and then also family back home, you know. And yeah, it's unfortunate, like we have lost lives in the past, and each loss is a huge loss to a country like ours, because
True.
we are like not very much populated, but people who have the skills and have the high, I mean, like who are well qualified and educated, sort of like lose life. It's a huge loss to the country, you know.
Nice.
So be strong, and then yeah, of course, and also we are very soon going to start like revive, I think, the counseling unit for the Buddhist community.
Nice.
So if there's anything that we can do to help, please feel free to reach out.
Yeah.
Here to help.
In our first episode, we had president of ABPI, and he also said that you guys are doing something that's really good to know, and I hope this committee of the people like you will help reduce lots of pressure and also make them come to the track and help them fulfill their Australian dreams.
Yes.
which is what we are going to do it again next time, like a podcast on Australian dreams. I think you should host that one. Anyway, thank you so much, and
thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your time, and we would like to, he was also mentioning about parenting and all. So in our next few episodes, we'll be calling the international student with kids, and particularly discuss on the parenting and also juggling with lots of things going around. Study, you have to work, you have to take care of your kids. So Ani Sukara we'll be discussing in our next few episodes. And thank you so much for watching. And this is podcast on mindful journeys, caring for international students. And my name is Sonam Penjor. And today I don't have my co-host here. Our co-host is Dr. Sonam Palden. Thank you so much.